Previously on Jem and the Holograms. So, all right, episode 1 was the introduction to Jem, how we got Jem, who Jem is, who the holograms are, and like her origin story. So, it starts out with oh no. It starts out with something. Oh, right. It starts out with them arriving at some like award show and everyone's like, "Jem, Aja, Kimber, Shayna, how are you so famous? Why are you so beautiful? Oh my god, we love you." Rah, 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 that kind of thing. And then she has a flashback. She's like, "It wasn't always like this. It started kind of dim." It starts out with her having a flashback, right? And she's like, my career didn't always start out this way. It started out with the death of my father, and then at the funeral, you meet Eric, who's slimy and smarmy, and he's like, "Hey, if you need anything, I'm so sorry about your dad dying. I'd like to touch you in places." And then Rio comes over, and Rio is like, "Excuse me, she doesn't need any of your help, and we're leaving." And then they walk off into the night together, her and Rio. All right, take two. Let me get comfortable because I need comfort if I'm going to do this. So, the last time I tried to do this previously on, my computer crashed, my video app crashed, and I only captured the first 16 minutes. And I was so depressed at that fact that I took like a week to, to try and do it again. And now it's been even longer since I watched the first episode, and I definitely can't guarantee you that I'm going to be able to recap this at all with any kind of accuracy. I'm going to try. So, previously on Jem and the Holograms. The first episode was a recap, and I think I'm going to keep the first 16 minutes of the recap. So after Eric gets all Angelica's stuff at her father's funeral, which is creepy, and Eric is kind of creepy, but frankly so is Rio. He's incredibly creepy, but we'll get to that later. She goes back to the Starlight house. I keep calling it the Starlight Mansion because that's what it ends up becoming. But right now, it's just a house. It's not a mansion because Jerica does not have that much white privilege yet. She only has a house. She hasn't upgraded to a mansion. The Starlight house, which is the foster home that her father left her, in addition to half of Starlight music that her father also left her. Did her father leave her anything else? We'll get to that. Starlight House is a mess. It seems to be run by Jerica and all of her other band members, but they're not a band. Right now, they're just staff. But I think. Why are you laughing? I think they're supposed to be her foster sisters. So does that mean Jerica was actually a foster child of her father? Is Jerica a real Benton? Or is she a foster Benton? That sounds like a brand of shoes. 50% off Foster Bentons. We have Foster Bentons in brown, blue, black, Asian, and Spanish? Is she Spanish? I don't know. Foster Bentons. So wait, I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that they are her foster sisters. So does that mean she was also a foster child in the Starlight house? So does she have more of an origin story that we're just not getting? What kind of foster child was she? Do we even want to know? Actually, I kind of think we know. Anyway, so they're at the Star. She's a favorite foster child who ended up inheriting everything. It certainly wasn't going to go to Shayna. Anyway, so the Starlight House is the foster home that houses all of the foster staff and foster girls. It is a mess. Someone needs to call DCF or whoever it is that's in charge of foster home maintenance. I mean, foster home inspections, because nothing works there. Everything is falling apart. They don't have electricity, or they could have had electricity, but Rio Pachenko screwed it up because Rio is actually the help as well as being Jerica's boyfriend. Where is Rio from? Let's not talk about that. We'll just let that go. We'll let that go. We'll let that go. Rio is not white. I can tell you that much. Jerica is white. Some of the foster children are white. Rio is sort of brown. So he's definitely not a white guy. He is her boyfriend or her best friend, her childhood friend. We don't know. I had to look it up because I wasn't sure. And I'm not sure if it ever comes up in the show because I don't remember. But I'm pretty sure when I looked it up, it said that he was her childhood friend from next door, which means the Pachenkos are awfully wealthy if they're living next door to the Bentons. Or was he her foster child as well? This is very unclear right now as far as the origin of Jem and the Holograms, which really should be Jerica and the Starlight staff. I have decided. You're laughing again. I don't understand this. Again, I'm getting ahead of myself because these are things that I've been thinking about for a week. The what was I saying? The house is a mess. Their one staff member that they have working for them. Oh, sorry. All the staff members that they have working for them don't know what they're doing. They can't change light bulbs. They can't fix plumbing. They can't fix electricity. Rio should be fired. But we'll just let him do what he's going to do, which is break everything or threaten creepy people who get all up on his girlfriend because she totally belongs to him because he's the help. Anyway, it's clear that they are sort of not able to take care of the house. And I forgot who it was. Some woman, one of the kids. Was it the house mother? Is this a sorority? Do foster homes have house mothers? Anyway, she says whenever they were broke, Jerica's father would just go to Starlight Music and get money. I think he would sort of walk in the front door and demand money. I don't think so. The way she says it, it sounds like he embezzled funds from his music company in order to pay for Starlight House. And I'm not sure that that's legal. I don't really know, actually. I can't say if that's legal or if that's okay to do because maybe it's a tax write-off. So basically, he's not really a good guy. He just has a foster house as a tax write-off. I'm not sure I understand the business ethics here. I just know that Eric is probably more sleazy than Jerica's father. But anyway, she's like, well, if my father got money from Starlight Music, I'll just go get money from there too.
Then why can't
so
I?
She gets into her car. No, the Starlight van, because they have their own van. That's what I'm saying. They already are a band. They have their own van. It says Starlight House on it. Jerica and the Starlight staff. I don't understand why they couldn't have just started this band. I feel like this band would have been the best. I think the whole show should be renamed Jerica and the Starlight staff, and you could have made a fortune selling Jerica Bentons. Could you not? Is this not a thing? Am I not making it a thing? Is it not fetch enough? I don't understand. Give me a chance. So they get it. She goes to the Starlight Music, which it's made very clear that she probably doesn't really know much about the music business. Eric is running it now, and when she goes there, she's mad that he's made all these replacements. Basically, he's replaced everybody that gave her any ounce of respect.
He knows me.
Even though she may not have technically deserved it. She's like, where is Bruce? Where is Paula? Where is Bill? Where are the people that actually cared that I exist on the planet? Who are all these people? So he's hired a bunch of bums that don't really seem to care about Jerica. They're probably perfectly fine at their jobs, but they just don't like her. So she basically has to barge in everywhere and push past people and trick everybody to get into the company that she owns half of. I don't understand that either, but we'll just let that go. She goes to see Eric and she's like, I need money for Starlight House. And I'm pretty sure that's not how that works. Anyway. Are we supposed to like Jerica at this point? I'm starting to have Kim Possible flashbacks. I used to love Kim Possible, and then when I went back and I watched it as an adult, I realized that Kim Possible is kind of obnoxious, and she just has the worst attitude, and I didn't notice that before, but she really is kind of terrible, and a little snobby, more than a little snobby. So Jerica sort of strikes me in this moment as overprivileged and a little bit of a Karen. I don't know how you just walk in and say, I need money for Starlight House. Like, Is that how you think the music business works? I don't think so. Anyway, Erica's like, whatever, please get out of my office. Actually, no, he introduces her to the band that is going to make Starlight music huge. And he introduces them as the Misfits.
Like the
And
Misfits.
they come in these absolutely fabulous motorcycles that are in the shape of guitars, but basically they don't make any sound. So I think they're kind of like tricycles or like scooters or something. But I don't know how they got them in the front of the Starlight building. I'm unsure of that and how they got them up the stairs because Jerica took an elevator and I'm not sure that the guitar, motorcycle, scooter, skateboards would fit in the elevator. And the way that they come in, it's just fabulous. I could watch that so many times. So he introduces Pizzazz, Stormer, and the other woman. What's her name? I don't remember her name. Jazzy? Is her name Jazzy? Raina? No, that's one of the Starlight staff. I don't remember her name. It's she's so not memorable. Though apparently Corey has told me that her problematic fave is Pizzazz. She's decided that Pizzazz is the best looking of the Misfits, as if they're drawn in any other way other than completely jank. But I guess Pizzazz to her is the most attractive because of her makeup. Okay, I had to inform her that Pizzazz is incredibly problematic and probably shouldn't be her bias. But we're just going to agree that Pizzazz is a problematic fave and we'll go from there. So the Misfits launch into their first song, which is Out of My Way, which is not one of my favorite Misfits songs. And I feel like the Misfits songs over time get better and better, kind of, you know, showcase that the Misfits are actually more conscious of the world that they live in than Jerica and the Starlight staff. And I don't think that happens until maybe the middle of the first season or maybe towards the second season that this happens. But the early songs are like basically like how they appear in the opening. They're very direct and to the point. We're the Misfits. Our songs are better. We're the Misfits and we're going to get her. That sort of stuff. I feel like Out of My Way is one of those songs. It doesn't really have any real meaning except you suck, get out of our way. We're going to run you over with our motorcycle scooters. I'm not a fan. But we get our first kind of feel of the Misfits being kind of punky and sort of rocky and sort of not incredibly well lyriced, I guess. I'm chasing a bug right now. I'm sorry. It's distracting me because it's huge. Why is it huge? I'm not even getting it. I'm just swatting endlessly. So Jerica is mad that Eric wants to promote the Misfits, who she basically refers to as trash.
How dare you use my father's
You're
company
gonna
to promote this
trash? I'm not sure that Jerica is in a position to decide who's trash when she just walked in with her hand out and said, I need money for my foster house because I can't hire proper staff. I don't quite understand her attitude at this moment, and I don't like her attitude. I'm just going to admit it. And every choice that she's made so far is a little... I don't even have a word for it. All I have is a head shake. It's a little... That's what it is. So, despite the fact that she owns half of Starlight Music, she doesn't seem to understand how the music industry works. And she doesn't recognize the fact that the Misfits are hardly trash. They're epic. But we'll get to that later. Eric basically tells her to shut up and go away and go back to her foster home, and that he is going to make Starlight Music huge. But here's the thing. I think Starlight Music is already huge because her father had all of this money and he was able to leave her all of these things. So is Starlight Music not doing well since he died? Or is Eric delusional or just a perv or what? I'm unsure of what's going on with how the Starlight Music industry actually works. Are they a big company? If they're a big company, why do they need the Misfits trash? I don't get it. So she goes home without money, I might add. And when she gets home, there's a package for her. It's a box that says Jerica on it or something. And I don't know where it came from or who brought it to her, but it's a dark and stormy night, and she opens up the it is. She opens up the box, and there's earrings in it. And she's like, "Oh, these are really cool." They're not, but she says they're really cool. And then as soon as she kind of says that, Synergy shows up, and Synergy is like basically the 80s version of Sharon Apple, except minus the psychopathic tendencies. Though I'm not sure if she has them or not. We've just met her. She could be a little off. And she's like, Jerica Benton. And I don't know why she calls her first name and her last name instead of Jerica, especially since it turns out that Jerica's father created her. Did he create her to use first and last names, or is that the 80s equivalent of what they think AI is? Anyway, she says, Jerica Benton, follow me. I will reveal secrets to you, or something. I know, I'm confusing my 80s cartoons. Secrets were revealed to He-Man when he held aloft his magic sword. Secrets were also revealed to Jerica Benton when she and the Starlight staff got into their van and drove to what appears to be a derelict drive-in. When they go in, I'm pretty sure the drive-in says Starlight Drive-In. So does that mean that her father also owned a drive-in movie theater that is defunct? So are we saying that he's broke now? Because the Starlight Drive-In is like crumbling and decrepit. And Eric also implies that he's going to fix or make Starlight music better. So is Jerica's father broke when he dies? Is that what actually happened? Because here's what I'm thinking. When they go to the derelict drive-in and Synergy goes, come this way, Jerica Benton. Drive your car into this wall. Bring your staff. She goes in, and it's actually a hologram. Get it? See what I did there? It's a hologram. They drive through the drive-in movie screen, and it's actually a base of operations or something. And Synergy is actually a computer, so she herself is a holographic Hatsune Miku idol singer. No, she's just an AI, even though she looks like she could be a really good idol singer. And she tells Jerica the secrets. And the secret is her father created her in order to, I don't know. I think she just says, your father created me. She didn't say why. So Jerica's father, or foster father, whatever, created an entire artificial intelligence K-pop idol. And in addition to that, he also left Jerica a Rolls Royce that says Jem on it, on the front emblem, instead of, I don't know what's on the front of a Rolls Royce, an eagle or a golf club or just like a white guy. I don't know. But it says Jem on the front of the Rolls Royce. I think it's a Rolls Royce, isn't it? It's called the Rockin' Roadster, but I think it's a Rolls. I don't know what kind of car that is. But it pops up out of the floor, and it already says Jem on it. And Synergy's like, your father left you this car. And then she goes, and also, he left you an entire wardrobe. So Jerica's father was a fashion designer, a car detailer, an AI programmer, a computer engineer, and the failed owner of Starlight Music and Starlight Drive-In. Perhaps if he put all his money into Starlight Music and the Starlight Drive-In instead of the Rockin' Roadster and an entire fashion line that no one's going to wear, maybe he wouldn't be broke. How much money did it cost him to make Synergy? Let's think about this. I don't know, but it's probably a lot. So they're like, oh my God, this is great. He's left us all this stuff. We still don't have any fucking electricity or water or a way to take care of all the foster girls in our care. She goes, I also create holograms, because that makes sense, that she's an AI that creates holograms. Why did Jerica's father create an AI that makes holograms instead of, like an AI, or a Roomba, for example, that can clean Starlight House, or a robot that can change light bulbs and fix electricity instead of having the help do it? he made Synergy, and I'm not sure why he made Synergy or what the reason for that was, but I guess it doesn't matter because this is an origin story. The origin of Jem is that Jerica's impoverished, absolutely genius, fabulous fashion designer father left her a chunk of his white privilege and she made a band. Did I not sum this up in the best way possible? Okay. Thank you. I'm trying to be as accurate as possible. So when she realizes that Synergy makes holograms, or Synergy says, I can make holograms, and she gives a couple of demonstrations. I can make the Asian into a black woman. I can make the black woman into a Hispanic woman. I can make nobody into a white woman. And I can change all of your hair and makeup. But we have an entire clothing line that my father created. Why do you have to make holograms out of everyone? And if you're going to make holograms, why don't you change their appearance? Jem and the Holograms is basically Jem and the Starlight staff with different color hair and makeup and clothes that Jerica's father designed. And can I just add that there were shoes, I think, in that closet as well? He makes shoes, you guys. He's a cobbler and shit. He's not just a cutter. He's a cobbler. I don't understand why this band comes about. I don't understand why Jerica says, oh my God, now that I know that you make holograms, I have a great idea. You could have made this band a long time ago, or right at that moment when you saw that your fashion fabulous father left you clothes and shoes, you could have put the clothes on and said, we can, become Kiss or Gwar or something and make a band. But instead she goes, Synergy, make some holograms, but they're not really holograms. Corey also realized that this was the origin of the name Jem and the Holograms because she's never seen the show and she didn't realize why they were called the Holograms. And it dawned on her with one of those head slap moments, one of those kind of things. And she was like, oh, they're holograms. But they're not holograms. They're themselves in her father's fashion line.
Jem will be right back after these messages.
So why didn't she just make a band of herself and her staff with her father's clothing line? Why did she have to turn herself into a hologram and leave the rest of her staff however they were? That's the thing that kind of confuses me. Why did she make a holograph of herself, like as another person called Jem? And where did her father get the name Jem that he put on the Rolls Royce? Like, was he a jeweler as well? He seems to have been a master of many trades, and none of them made any money. I don't understand that either. So I'm wondering what in Jerica's mind made her decide to take her, dissociative identity disorder and turn it into the lead singer of a rock band. Actually, it's the 80s. There's probably already a lot of those if I think back to all the rock bands in the 80s. But she was the one who was like, I'm going to turn myself into somebody different, but the rest of you are going to be yourselves. Because aren't they Aja, Shayna, Kimber, right? Those are their names, like that the audience is shouting, or the crowd is shouting at the beginning of the episode when they show up before her flashback. They know all their names. They just don't know Jerica's name. Is there some legal precedent as to why Jerica Benton can't also run Starlight Music and be the lead singer of her own band? Why does she change herself into somebody else? I'm at a loss. And what does Synergy have to do with this? Synergy seems to exist solely so that Jerica can make holograms of herself to fool people into thinking that her and Jem are different people. That's the only reason Synergy exists, so that no one knows that Jerica is Jem. And I don't understand why she needs to do this. Is there some other secret that we don't know about? Is she like some kind of runaway person from a war-torn country? Is she in witness protection? Why is she the only one who needs a secret identity in this rock band? Does anyone know? Is this something that's going to be revealed by the end of the series? I mean, I did watch it when I was a kid, and I don't remember how it ended. I think it ended before it should have ended, and there was never any resolution to this. So, does anyone have any information about why she did this, aside from, you know, mental illness? I'm still lost. I still don't get it. After she decides to do this, they show up at Eric's Battle of the Bands. Eric's Battle of the Bands is really not really a Battle of the Bands. It's a play free music in the park with some bands that I think he made up as he was driving to the park. The Lounge Lizards and the Leatherettes. I think that is just my favorite name ever. What's the matter, Tari? You don't like me talking about Jem? Or you want me talking about more about the Leatherettes? The Leatherettes are sort of, I mean, I think that's sort of a weird costume design there. What are the Leatherettes? What kind of music do the Leatherettes make? I feel like the Leatherettes would make music like somewhere between the Violent Femmes and like Alien Anthill or something. I can't really put my finger on exactly what I think the Leatherettes would play because we never get to hear them. We only know that Eric has gotten the two worst possible bands he could get so that he sets up the Misfits to win, but we don't hear any of the bands play, so I couldn't say if they're better than the Misfits. Jem breaks in. Again, it's sort of like how she got into Starlight Music. She just shows up and they play Only the Beginning, which is one of my favorite songs.
Wow, look around at the sight and the sound. Did we take you by surprise that you can't believe your eyes? Oh, wow, well, this is only the beginning, only the beginning. Now's the time when our star's gonna climb. Watch us try for the prize. We're already on the rise. Well, this is only the beginning, only the beginning, only the beginning, only the beginning, only the beginning. Wow, look around at the sight and the sound. Did we take you by surprise that you can't believe your eyes? Oh, well, this is only the beginning, only the beginning. Now's the time when our star's gonna climb. Watch us try for the prize. We're already on the rise. Well, this is only the beginning, 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 only the beginning.
And now, back to Jem.
It's my jam. It's my jam. And I feel like anyone who doesn't like Only the Beginning is probably going to hologram hell. That's what I feel. It is great. It's such a great introduction to them. I love that song and I will sing it until the cows come home. In fact, I still blast it. I'm 50 something years old and I'm still blasting the Jem master tapes because I love them. So she rocks out. Obviously, everybody loves her because it's Jem. She has to make a hologram of herself, of Jerica, so that she can confront Eric. And it's weird how she does it. It's like she projects the hologram. Everybody turns. And then she jumps off the stage, runs behind a tree, changes into Jerica, and somehow takes Jerica's place. But Jerica was standing there. And where did she go? She left stage, exit stage left, and then comes in stage right to confront Eric. No one would believe this. I don't believe it. And I was watching it. So I don't understand the whole point of that. So they make this weird bet. And the bet is if the Misfits sell more records in 6 months than Jem and the Holograms, then Eric will own all of Starlight Music. If the Holograms have more records, then Jericho will own all of Starlight Music. And I don't know why anybody would make this bet, but Eric does. And on top of it, he does it over a PA system, and everybody hears him, including Ginger and the FBI guys. This is another great band that we could have had. Instead of having like Riot and the Stingers, we could have had Ginger and the FBI guys, because those dudes are standing in the crowd of this not Shakespeare in the Park band competition, and they're just sort of watching this, and the FBI guys have on these glasses and they're trying to look. So anyway, he comes out of nowhere and he's like, I'm a film producer, because it makes sense that a film producer would have two FBI guys next to him. I don't know who he's supposed to be. And he says, this is a very interesting wager. Let me get in on this. I don't know why he says this either. And he's like, I am going to give the winner of this competition, Tari, I'm trying to tell a story. I'm going to give the winner of this competition this mansion. And he holds up a picture of this mansion, and he's got his big, creepy ginger finger in the middle of. Am I wrong? Put up a picture of this. I'm going to put it up there. Is that not a creepy ginger finger? He puts up his creepy ginger finger and he points at this mansion. Whose mansion is this? Is this a mansion that he no longer needs because he's such a rich, wealthy producer? Is this secretly a mansion that Jerica's father used to own? I don't understand. It has a vineyard. At least Corey thought it was a vineyard. I think it's just different bathrooms, but it could be a vineyard. And what's even weirder is in the picture, there's a bunch of people out front. Like, what are they doing there? Is that the staff? The show. Anyway, so he says they're going to win a mansion and a movie contract or a movie deal. I don't know why he puts this into the bet. I don't know what he's going to get out of this. I don't understand the point of why he's involved in this. It just seems really strange to me. But anyway, it just ups the stakes. So the Misfits are pissed because Jem showed up and sang only the beginning. And they're so mad and they're so completely psychotic that they take all of their band gear and put it into their van and they drive off with it. They just literally steal Jem and the Holograms non-holographic. If they're holograms, is it hologramic or holographic? Is it a holograph? I'm not sure what word to use now that I've said this to myself. They steal all their very real gear, band gear, and they start throwing it on the street as they're going over the Autobahn. I don't understand how the Autobahn got into this. I don't know where they are in the world or where this whole thing takes place, but they're on like some Welsh windy road. You know, I'm waiting for, like, I don't know, Jack Logan to show up and like arrest somebody. I just don't understand what's happening. So Jem and the Holograms are chasing them to get their gear back, and the Misfits are throwing their gear at them and just ruining it. I mean, her father probably made these instruments, because don't forget, he probably makes instruments as well. And in an effort to get their stuff back and to avoid death, they almost go over a cliff. Like a whole cliff. And they're teetering on the edge of this cliff, not knowing at all what they're doing. I don't know why they're trying to get out of the car. I'm not going to talk about it. But what I am going to talk about is the fact that Jerica is like, Synergy, we need help. And Synergy's like, bitch, I make holograms. I can't help you off this cliff. You need to learn how to drive. And she's like, I need you to make a hologram of Jem and project it onto the road because Rio is going to be here any minute. Why did she ask Synergy to make a hologram of Jem and not herself? Why did she feel that Rio would just keep driving if he saw Jerica on the side of the road waving her hands, but he's guaranteed to stop if he sees Jem? What is going on in this show? What is wrong with Jerica Benton? She's got some sort of serious mental issue. But she projects Jem, and Jem is like, help, help, help. And Rio like slams on those brakes. He's like, damn, girl, look at your calves. I can help you. And he gets out and he brings his Wonder Woman magic lasso and he helps his girlfriend and her staff from falling over a cliff. I don't understand why Jerica couldn't project herself. Can anyone explain this to me? Anyway, he saves them. The Ute in the newspaper.
Did
It
you say
says
Ute?
local Ute saves ex-girlfriend because his girlfriend is now Jem, let's be honest, from death-defying fall where she kills all of her, diverse friends. And he becomes famous, I guess. Does he become famous? Does he get a reward? I guess he's on the front of the newspaper, so I guess that makes him famous. So I think then the episode ends with Eric sending another ginger to kill her, or no, to scare her. And he's like, I totally am scary. And he's got the glasses to prove that he's scary. And he breaks into the Starlight house and steals their mantle clock and a candelabra. Because he's a scary gang guy with a butt chin. And that's how he's going to make his living, is stealing mantle clocks and candelabras. And in the process of stealing things, there's a fire. And at the end of the episode, Jerica and the Starlight staff burn to death because they are unable to do anything. They don't try to save the foster children. They don't try to save the Starlight house. They're just standing there, staring incredulously as the flames consume them. You're welcome. That is how the episode ends, with death, fiery death in the Starlight house. So that compels me to want to watch how these burnt to a crisp skeletons going to continue their band. I hope you enjoyed this recap, the previously on episode 1 of Jem and the Holographics. And I think that hopefully it won't take me a week to do these, but it's probably better if it takes a week because you're going to get this. I know I missed some stuff. I think I left out the whole subplot about the Starlight House girls trying to make enough money to buy a new refrigerator, because apparently in Starlight House they don't even have a refrigerator, and the foster children have to save up money from doing odd jobs to buy like a dorm fridge. I don't know what to say about that. I feel something is very wrong at Starlight House. Something is very wrong at Starlight House. And I don't know if anyone seems to care. But Starlight House is about to burn down, so we'll see what happens in episode 2. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you later, unless I'm a hologram. I could be a hologram now, and you wouldn't even know. Would you know?